Ladies and gentlemen, what did we just witness? I'll tell you what we just witnessed. Pens and Sabres coming up next on the Penguins post-game show on Sports for Beginners. Let's get started. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, Showcase scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins postgame. I'm PPG for PGH, and you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Oh my Nedeljkovic. Oh my Nedeljkovic. Why did you say oh my Nedeljkovic, Scott? Why? I'll tell you why. Remember last year, Tristan Jarry against the Tampa Bay Lightning? We talked about it on Penguins post game last year. I remember it all too well. Tristan Jarry became the first goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history to actually score a goal. Guess what? Fast forward a year later, Alex Nedeljkovic had a goal in the AHL last year. This year, after Tristan Jarry cleared waivers unclaimed and was sent down to Wilkes-Barre Scranton, guess what he does? Okay, so I might become the guy. But then again, we got our buddy, our rookie goaltender in Joel Blomqvist coming in here to talk with me. And my goodness, Alex Nedeljkovic scores his first NHL goal as a goaltender. What a win for Pittsburgh as the Penguins celebrate a 2-point party at KeyBank Center. And it's unbelievable night for Alex Nedeljkovic. What an unbelievable night for Alex Nedeljkovic. First goalie in Pittsburgh Penguins history. Well, actually, not the first Penguins goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history, but he is the first goaltender in NHL history to score a goal and have an assist on this game. What a night for Alex Nedeljkovic. Not only did he get the win in this, not only did he get the win at KeyBank Center tonight, but he also did what many would think is impossible. Impossible. I mean impossible. Well, sometimes the impossible things are the ones you wait for. And in this rate, and in this kind of thing, Alex Nedeljkovic making some history. He's making headlines, my friends, here on Penguins postgame. What a headline we are talking about to kick off the program. I want to get into the game. Here, but we got to talk. We really got to talk about Alex Nedeljkovic and specifically his goalie goal. But holy macadin, what a night for Alex Nedeljkovic as the Penguins beat the Buffalo Sabres for the second time in the 2024-2025 season, and it's 5-2 this time, Pittsburgh over the Sabres. But my golly, holy macadon. What a night in Buffalo it was for Alex Nedeljkovic. The empty net goal belongs to him, but it's his first goalie goal in the NHL. Wow. What a night for Alex Nedeljkovic. What a night for Nedeljkovic. What a night. What an absolute night for Alex freaking Nedeljkovic. What a night for Nedeljkovic. He is the first netminder to tally a goal and an assist in an NHL game. There is more to come on the story as people are coming on to it, but holy crow, holy macadon. I don't know how many times I'm going to say holy macadon on this program, but wow. Have yourself a night. Have yourselves a night, Alex Nedeljkovic. As always, and this will take us right up to our first commercial break of the program. I did want to get into the scoring and the penalties, but we're going to take our first break of the program, and we're going to get to the way the game shaped up by the Pens in that first period, second period, and third period later in the show in our second segment. Before we get to it all, our second and third segment, I should say, before we get to it all, let's wrap up our opening segment with, as always, our head coaches and goaltenders in between the pipe. First off, we got to talk about the Buffalo Sabres. And I want to apologize to the Lukaden family. I've been trying my very hardest to pronounce Ukko-Pekka Lukaden's name. And I also heard on the Penguins broadcast tonight on the Penguins radio network, which is doing their post-game show right now as we are doing it. I mean, obviously, we probably will move on into tomorrow as we get ready for the Pens and the Capitals. But regardless on that, let's keep it going here. I want to apologize to the Lukaden family if I pronounced the name wrong. I also found out that Ukko-Pekka Lukaden does not like to be called PL. So Ukko-Pekka Lukaden is the starter for Lindy Ruff, Buffalo Sabres, with the former Toronto Maple Leaf goaltender James Reimer in at backup. We also saw the return of Joel Bloomquist in at backup due to the noise surrounding Tristan Jarry. Not to quote Phil Borg on this, but Borky mentioned that Tristan Jarry was trying to find his game and his NHL career, to be honest. But you know what? He had an interesting year in 2024. In 2025, he's not had a great year. But you know who might have a great year? This man right here, who got the start between the pipes against the Buffalo Sabres tonight. Number 39, Alex Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic getting the start for Mike Sullivan. And I would like to think that Joel Bloomquist will get the start against none other than the Washington Capitals in a place he's also beaten. He's also won a game for the Penguins, I should say. So with that all being said, why don't we just get down to business? Why don't we just get down to business? Pekka Lukaden is our starter. He goes head to head with he goes head to head with Alex Nedeljkovic, and obviously Nedeljkovic winning this game. Hey, bright side, very bright side. The Sabres goaltender Pekka Luukkonen didn't have to give up the goalie goal to Alex Nedeljkovic. What a day that was. What a day that was tonight for Alex Nedeljkovic. All right. I have a couple of thoughts on this, but let's at least get started. And we will get started right now. I'm going to get into it right now. I'm going to get into it right now, at least to our first period. We'll get to the second period and the third period when we continue on Penguins postgame after our first commercial break of the program. But let's get into it. At least, you know what? Let's at least get through the scoring so that we have the penalties to take over in the next segment. Here we go. Owen Power getting things started for Buffalo. His sixth goal of the season. It's a power play goal for Buffalo. We'll get to the penalties on the other side of our first break of the program. Zach Benson picking up his 9th assist of the season. That's his 8th assist of the season. Sorry about that. He did have his 9th assist picked up in this one. But he had to wait a little bit while longer. Does pick up his 8th assist of the season in the Owen Power goal. Bowen Byram picking up his 18th assist of the season. Sabres take a 1-0 lead, 15 minutes and 16 seconds in. Of course, in between those areas, we had some penalties. Only one penalty to a side, which means we would see a power play, and it will go to both sides, and a penalty kill to both sides. Moving on, we'll get to the shots on goal by period after we get through our penalties, but moving on, as we go through our scoring, the Penguins score on the power play with a goal of their very own. Rickard Rakell picking up his 23rd goal of the season, assisted by number 17, Brian Rust. 18th assist of the season for Brian Rust. Number 22 on the season for Matt Grzelcyk. 1 minute and 41 seconds in. Very quick timing there by the Penguins as they went on a power play in the early seconds of the second period. They would score, but they'll score on the power play in just a little bit later. After one period of play, though, it was 1-0 Buffalo. And then Rickard Rakell quickly scores a power play goal to tie this one up. Anthony Buvarelli making things a 2-1 lead for Pittsburgh. Just about a minute and 8 seconds later, with his 10th goal of the season, the first goal he has in a long time since he has scored, I believe. Speaking of guys who don't have many goals, we go over to Cody Glass. Before we get to Cody Glass scores an assist, his 9th of the season on the Anthony Buvarelli goal. 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the second period. And then he gets his own PPG for PGH as the Penguins score 3 times on the power play goal twice in the second period. Cody Glass, his second goal of the season, and probably a goal in as many games. Philip Tomasino on the assist, number 5 for him. And this is where the night for Alex Nedeljkovic begins. This is where the night for Alex Nedeljkovic begins. This is where the night for Nedeljkovic begins. He scores his first assist of his NHL career, and of course, first assist of the evening. Only assist of the evening. First of the season for him. 11 minutes and 43 seconds in, the Penguins are on top 3-1. That is where the score would stay heading into the final 20 minutes of play. Speaking of those final 20 minutes of play, and boy, were they exciting, especially for penalties. Boy, were they exciting. Take a look at this. Once again, the Penguins score on the power play goal. Rusty shake alert, rusty shake alert, rusty shake alert, rusty shake alert, rusty shake alert. Because Brian Rust scored in tonight's hockey game, you receive half off Rusty Shakes tomorrow at the Milkshake Factory ahead of Capitals versus Penguins at 7 p.m. Eastern in the nation's capital of Washington. 18th goal of the year for Brian Rust, a third PPG for PGH Matt Grzelcyk on the assist. His second assist of the night, hit 23rd of the season. Second assist of the night, 23rd of the season. Michael Bunting, 13th assist of the season. Only assist of the evening. Same thing for Cody Glass. Cody Glass only with one assist in this hockey game. Zach Benson, he had quite a night. Just like the one and only Alex Nedeljkovic, the aforementioned Alex Nedeljkovic. He got a assist, which was, by the way, his 8th of the season. He also got his 8th goal of the season to get Buffalo back within 2 and make it 4-2. Tage Thompson, 17th assist of the season for Tage Thompson. Alex Tuch, 19th assist of the season. 14 minutes and 48 seconds in after the Brian Rust goal, 1 minute and 9 seconds in. Put Pittsburgh up 4-1. They were up by 3. Now they're back up by 2. Goalie pulled after the Zach Benson goal. During the goalie pull, during the first time the goalie was pulled. Of course, at this point, Zach Benson, 8th goal of the season, puts it close again. Sabres need 2 goals to tie. Empty net. Nedeljkovic shoots the puck and puts it on target for the first time in NHL history. Alex Nedeljkovic has lit the lamp and grabbed an assist. Gotta see it. You gotta see it. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna see this as we roll on. Maybe when we go to break. But yeah, you gotta see what happened in this one. If you were able to catch it on the Penguins radio network, you heard the call of Joe Brand and the old 2-9er, Phil Borg. If you didn't, or let's say you were able to catch it on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, you heard the call of Josh Getzoff and whoever was with him on the call. I would think it would be Colby Armstrong, to be honest. But regardless, what a night it was for number 39 of the Pittsburgh Penguins. What a night it was for Alex freaking Nedeljkovic. What a night. His first goal of the year, unassisted, and he becomes the first NHL goalie in NHL history. That's right. The first goaltender in NHL history. He actually is the 16th goaltender to score. And Pittsburgh will break a 3-game slide. But regardless, he becomes the first goaltender in NHL history with a goal and an assist in a 40-save night. In a 40 saves night for the Pittsburgh Penguins in this 5-2 win against the Buffalo Sabres at KeyBank Center on this Friday night. He actually has become the 11th goaltender in NHL history to shoot and score. He has become the 16th goaltender in NHL history to be credited with a goal and the 11th to shoot and score. What a day for Alex Nedeljkovic. What a night. What a night it was. All right. Time of Alex Nedeljkovic's goal after 14 minutes and 46 seconds when Zach Benson scored. 17 minutes, 18 seconds. What a night for Alex Nedeljkovic. What a night for Alex freaking Nedeljkovic. I know. I've said Nedeljkovic's name twice already, but I just can't stop saying it. I can't stop saying Ned. I can't stop saying it. I really can't. 40 save night for Alex Nedeljkovic. What a night it was. All right, penalties coming up on the other side, plus our shots on goal after the game and by period. So don't you dare miss it. We will be back with you right after a quick word from our friend at Broadcast Map and on the ice and behind the benches. So don't go anywhere. This historic day for Alex Nedeljkovic on Penguins postgame continues in a matter of moments. Stick with us.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Welcome back, everyone, to Penguins post game. We welcome everyone back to the Penguins post game show. Got into our goaltenders, our head coaches off the top of this historic night for Alex Nedeljkovic, and during historic night for Alex Nedeljkovic, we also had some penalties that we haven't gotten to yet. We also have the 3 stars coming up a little bit later. Our game puck of the game, our shake of the game, and the play of the game. Right now, what we're going to do before we get into our shots on goal by period, and of course, the rest of our game stats, let's talk about the penalties in this contest by period. Only a couple of penalties were called in this game. 2 of them, or I should say one of them, to a side in the first period, which ultimately led to some of the power play goals scored. The first penalty of the game went to Buffalo Sabres number 22, Jack Quinn, a 2-minute minor for slashing against Evgeny Malkin. Time of the penalty, 10 minutes and 57 seconds. Speaking of Evgeny Malkin, 12 minutes and 24 seconds later, Evgeny Malkin receives a double minor for high sticking at that point in time, and that would lead to the Owen Power power play goal for BUF, which is the short form for Buffalo, and the short form for power play goal is PPG. So a PPG for BUF, their first and only power play goal of the game. Second period, we roll around, and guess what we got? Well, we have a couple of penalties to talk about here in the second period. And in the second period, our first couple of penalties to speak of, they belong to the Sabres. Number 26, Rasmus Dahlin, 2-minute minor for high sticking. 31 seconds into the game, which led to the opening power play goal by the Pittsburgh Penguins from Rickard Rakell. Henry Yokiharu picking up a 2-minute minor for tripping a few minutes later. 9 minutes and 50 seconds later, I should say. That led to another opportunity on the power play for the Penguins. They don't score on the power play in this one, so the Sabres avoid that power play. Penguins go to the penalty kill on a penalty. No, they actually do get one. They do get one on the. The Penguins do get the power play goal on the Yokiharu goal. On the Yokiharu penalty. They do get it because that remains around for the Penguins to get one. As we were actually playing a little bit of 4-on-4, I should say, or it was around the last couple of seconds of the power play. Cody Glass does score on that one. But anyways, moving on. Moving on. Penguins penalties go to Pierre-Olivier Joseph, and once again, Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin's now got 2 penalties on the night, I should say. One in the first period, which was a double minor. One in the second period, a 2-minute minor for interference. A slashing minor to Pierre-Olivier Joseph, POJ. That came at 12 minutes and 7 seconds. Evgeny Malkin's penalty coming in at 18 minutes and 35 seconds. Tage Thompson wraps up our second period penalty summary with an interference call at 19 minutes and 26 seconds. And the Penguins score on the power play in the third period early on, as they would score on the Tage Thompson minor. On the Tage Thompson minor, I should say. Which leads us to our third period. In our third period, a couple of penalties to be talked about in the third period. The first one went Owen Pickering for delay of game, 4 minutes and 42 seconds. A 2-minute minor for delay of game. Michael Bunting receives a 2-minute minor for roughing, 9 minutes and 11 seconds in. Peyton Krebs, 9 minutes and 11 seconds in, also receiving a 2-minute minor for roughing. And Ryan Graves and Jason Zucker, a former Penguin and Penguins player Ryan Graves, also receiving 12 minutes and 3 seconds in. They receive 10-minute game misconduct and are out for the rest of the game. They would not return. And we would play 4-on-4 at this point in time. Shots on goal after, first of all, the first 20 minutes, 10-6 in favor of the Sabres. Sabres beating the Penguins 10-6 after the first period of play. They lead the Penguins 23-16 at the end of 2 periods of play, beating them 13-10 in the shot total after 40 minutes of play. Then the Sabres outshoot the Penguins 19-3 in the third period, and in total outshoot the Penguins 42-19. Those are your shots on goal totals. How did things go elsewhere on our game stats? We're going to get into it right now. And we'll close out our segment here, our segment of the penalties, with our 3 stars of the game. Game puck of the game, play of the game, and the shake of the game coming up in just a matter of moments. So be sure to stick with us. But before we leave, let's get into our stats, shall we? Here we go. In the first period, in the face-off dot, I should say, not first period, in the final shots on goal tally, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Sabres outshooting the Penguins 40-19. The Penguins won 32 out of 58 of the face-offs on this Friday night action. Of course, we're now coming to you live on a Saturday, but we started this program on Friday night, right after the game. We're going to keep it like that. And we'll get to the only other game that was in play besides Penguins and Sabres a little bit later as we proceed to wrap up the show. Maybe we'll do that in between the game puck of the game and the play of the game before we get to the shake of the game. But with that all being said, moving on, the Penguins in the face-off dot on Friday night, 55.2% good. They won 32 out of 58 face-offs. Buffalo, just about 45% good on the face-off dot, winning 26 out of 58 face-offs. Just about 45% good. They go 1 for 5 on the power play. And the Penguins penalty kill went 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. 1 for 4, the Sabres go on the penalty kill, but the Penguins score 3 times on the power play, so they go 3 for 4 on the power play. Percentages at 75% for the Penguins, 20% for the Sabres. The Penguins and the Sabres each spend a period amount of time in the penalty box, with the Penguins spending 22 minutes in the penalty box. The Sabres spending 20 minutes in the penalty box. The Sabres were out-hit by the Penguins 21 to 19. They had 14 blocked shots of the Penguins' shots, 9 giveaways, and only 1 takeaway. The Penguins finished the game with 17 blocked shots, 12 giveaways, and 6 takeaways. And with that, that'll bring us to our 3 stars of the game. You've heard me talk about the possibility of sponsors over the course of many of our Penguin post-game shows, but we are not sponsored by the sponsors that sponsor the Penguins radio network and specifically sponsor the segments we're going to get to in just a second after we take a quick break. And of course, after we went over, I should say, our game stats. The first one we're going to do on the Penguins radio network is brought to you by your neighborhood Ford stores. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And again, that is for the Penguins radio network. We are not sponsored by it. And of course, it could be something coming down the road. With that all being said, the play of the game is sponsored by Rivers Casino. We're not sponsored by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. That is a sponsor for the Penguins radio network. But it could be something down the road. All right. With that all being said, let's get into it. Your third star of the game on Friday night is Zach Benson. 2 points, 1 goal, 1 apple, as the old United would say. I would say 1 assist. He is your third star. Your second star is Cody Glass. 2 points, a goal, and an assist. And with a goals against average of 2 and a save percentage of .952, your first star is the man of the hour, number 39, Alex Nedeljkovic. Alex Nedeljkovic is your first star of the game. Alex Nedeljkovic, your first star of the hockey game. Alex Nedeljkovic, Cody Glass, and Zach Benson. I couldn't have scripted that any better. I love the fact that we have Alex in there at the 3 stars. He's deserving of it. But again, I actually thought, looking back at the highlights as I did before we came back onto the show, I actually thought, I really actually thought that we were going to see Alex Nedeljkovic go into the game and get a goal in this one. I really thought we were going to see that. I really did. I really thought we were going to see that like we did on Friday night. All right, if you have a different opinion in a play of the game, a different opinion in the 3 stars of the game, or would like to get in on the shake of the game action and the game puck of the game action, head on over to our Discord server, Penguins Post Game Show Interactions on Discord. Or if you would like to do it easier, send an email to Sports for Beginners Podcast 8231 at gmail.com. With your recipients, we'll accept them as the shows hit the air on Penguins post game on Sports for Beginners, I should say, and of course on the Behind the Bench. We'll accept all of them. And the best time to do it is pretty much during the game night. So if you are thinking about doing that for the Capitals, wait till the puck drops, and specifically maybe wait till the third period or so, or after the first 40 minutes of play. And if you have any ideal people who will receive I should say, look like they should receive a game puck of the game, or a shake of the game, or receive credit for the play of the game. Speaking of which, we'll get to all of that when Penguins postgame continues in a matter of moments. Also want to let you guys know that the next 5 for Buffalo and the next 5 for the Penguins are coming up next as the Penguins continue their 7-game road trip. Talk about it all coming up after the play of the game, shake of the game, and game puck of the game, which are coming up next on Penguins postgame when we return. Stick with us. Still lots more to come, including setting up Penguins and Capitals. Stick with us. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history to actually score a goal. He's going to grab this. I'll tell you what, that puck bounces the first time on the hash marks. And I know I said it before, there's not many goaltenders that can do that.
Boy, nothing beats a memory lane, especially on a night like Friday night, where the Penguins beat the Sabres 5-2. Play of the game from that game on November 30th, 2023, when the Penguins battled the Bolts in 2023, just around the end of the year, and Tristan Jarry became the first goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history to actually score a goal. You fast forward now to January 17th, 2025, and guess what? Alex Nedeljkovic becomes the second goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history to actually score a goal, but he also scored and picked up an assist on this one. Speaking of which, that brings us into our play of the game. But before we get to the play of the game, let's kick things off here with taking a look at the other action on a not so busy night in the NHL. And only one other game going on this Friday night when the Penguins played the Sabres. That was the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights fell 3-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Goals by Shea Theodore, Seth Jarvis, Jackson Blake, Jarvis had 2 goals, and Thomas Hertl had one of the goals for the Golden Knights. Speaking of our game break here, let's go back to Thursday night. Penguins not playing on a Thursday night. But here are some of the No, you know what? We'll just keep it to Friday, because we might run overtime with that. A lot of games on Saturday, but we'll do our Capitals Penguin recap to do all of that from Saturday night. Big Saturday night of games, including Hockey Day in Canada 25th anniversary. So if you're tuning into the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast or Hockey Day in Canada broadcast over the course of this Saturday, hope you enjoy the game. And I hope Penguin fans will come back for Penguins and Capitals on Penguins postgame shortly after we have wrapped up here. And of course, shortly after we see the game wrap up in the nation's capital of the United States. That's where the Penguins are playing tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk more about that in just a few moments. But let's now get to our Jake of the game and our game puck of the game. We took a look around a not so busy NHL schedule in Friday, and that was supposed to be on our next up for the Sabres and next up for the Penguins, but we used it here in this segment. I think I would speak for all of us, or at least speaking for myself, because I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I want to mention that my play of the game would have to be the empty net goal scored by Alex Nedeljkovic. But in listening to him post game, he said he thinks he might have pushed it a little too hard when he jumped into the benches. And if you watch the Gotta See It on YouTube, or if you watched the game and actually saw it on the telecast on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, you'll notice that the Penguins crowd around Alex Nedeljkovic after he jumps into the Penguins bench to celebrate his goalie goal, thinking, oh my goodness, I actually did it. Now, Nedeljkovic also added in his media availability. Nedeljkovic also added in his media availability. He also added that it's been a part of his game, to put the puck in the net. It's been a part of his game to put the puck in the net. And honestly, I can't say I would disagree with him. But yeah, maybe you pushed it a little bit, Ned. Maybe you pushed it a little too far when you jumped into the benches. But hey, it's your first goal. It's your first NHL goal of your NHL career. Also, you're the second goaltender in Penguins franchise history to actually score a goal, and one of many to score a goal as a goaltender and pick up an assist. Have a 2-point night. I'm going to have to take a look at that all to see how many times that's happened in Penguins history, but also we already know that Tristan Jarry was the first Pittsburgh Penguin goaltender to actually score a goal. And now you fast forward to, and I should have said that was in 2023, not 2024, but it was during the 2023-2024 season. And now in the 2024-2025 season, a year later, Nedeljkovic has done it. All right. Nedeljkovic's empty net goal, good enough for my play of the game. And you know what? Speaking of Nedeljkovic, he is going to lead us off in our Shake of the Game portion of the program. But I also want to give a Shake of the Game to the man running the shake of the game inspired segment as Brian Rust because he scored. Penguin fans, you're probably enjoying while you listen to this, depending on when this show goes out. Hopefully, it goes out when we're able to get it out to you. You're probably enjoying a half-off Rusty Shake. And if you've tried a Jake Shake before at the Milkshake Factory, I'd like to know, which is better, a Jake Shake or a Rusty Shake? Which is better? What do you prefer? All right. On that note, Brian Rust and Alex Nedeljkovic getting the shake of the game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The shake of the game, also known as the player of the game for the Buffalo Sabres and the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are, for the Penguins, it's Alex Nedeljkovic and Brian Rust. For the Sabres, I'm going to go with Zach Benson, one of the goal scorers in this one. The other goal scorer is Owen Power. So we're going to give a shake of the game to Owen Power. And, of course, Zach Benson. Stats speak for themselves. We're not really going to worry about that right now. The one stats we are going to worry about is our game puck of the game. And for the Penguins, we gave them the shake of the game. Now we're going to give them the game puck of the game. Give it up for number 39, Alex Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic, 40 saves in this one tonight in the game against the Buffalo Sabres. 2 goals given up, 1 at even strength, 1 on the power play. 40 saves out of 42 shots. Save percentage, as I mentioned, in the 3 stars of the game, 952. Goals against average, 2, playing a total of 60 minutes in the game. We were a little interrupted there, but you know what? That's okay. In the 3 stars of the game, as I mentioned, the save percentage for Alex Nedeljkovic, 952. Goals against average, 2, given the fact that he gave up a goal on the power play and a goal at even strength. But he still backstopped the Sabres to get the Penguins the win. And that's what they did. Our game puck of the game for Buffalo, it's a pick-me-up one, but again, apologies to the Lukanen family. But I'm gonna give your goaltender Buffalo, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. If I'm saying it right, of course, my apologies if I say it wrong. I'm gonna try to make sure I refrain from using the word I probably might use right now, UPL, which I understand is as I mentioned here early on in the show, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen does not like to be called UPL. So, with that all being said, we're going to dismantle from there. 56 minutes and 29 seconds played on the ice for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. 778 save percentage. Again on the ice for a total of 56 minutes and 29 seconds. 4 goals given up, 3 on the power play, 1 at even strength. Did have an interesting night in goal. He did make 14 saves out of 18 shots, considering the fact that he wasn't tested as much as Alex Nedeljkovic was. He does finish the game, as I mentioned earlier, with 56 minutes and 29 seconds of total ice time and a save percentage of 778. So it's it's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Sabres on the game puck of the game. And it's Alex Nedeljkovic getting a 2-for-1 special. Game puck of the game and a shake of the game. Brian Rust also with the shake of the game. Shake of the game for the Buffalo Sabres belongs to Zach Benson and Owen Power. These two squads will do battle once again in Buffalo on March 27th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. From the KeyBank Center, the Penguins needed overtime to defeat the Sabres in the opener back on October 16th, 2024. 6-5. They defeat Buffalo 5-2 on Friday night, January 17th, 2025. Let's see what March 27th has in store for Lindy Ruff and Mike Sullivan. Should head coaches like them make it to that timeline, unless they get fired? We'll see. But right now, it's time for a 30-second timeout and a word from our friends over at Sienna T Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time. We'll talk about that radio station as we close out the program with the next 5 for Buffalo and the next 5 for the Penguins. Next up for the Pens. Next up for the Sabres. When we return in 30 seconds after this from Sienna T Radio. Stick with us. Back in 30 seconds to close out the show. Stick with us.
Sienna T Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on Sienna T Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on Sienna T Radio.
Catch all the action on Sienna T Radio all Saturday afternoon and evening long. 4 programs on the slate for Sienna T Radio. For Sienna T Radio today, including tonight, the Song Bank from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central. It's 2 hours of great fun. 2 hours of great fun on Sienna T Radio coming up later in the evening. But of course, we cannot, and I mean cannot, forget about all the wonderful action coming up over the course of the afternoon here on this Saturday as we finish off a recording here from Friday night's game between the Sabres and the Penguins. Still to come on our on our Grand Slam header. You've heard Nick Blazewitz on the Melting Pot earlier today from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Right now on the radio station, actually coming up in about a couple of minutes from now, you will hear the Classical Cafe doors open for Samantha Ash. We'll be running a wide range of classical music, classical contemporary crossovers, Broadway tunes, opera TV themes, movie soundtracks, and much more on the Classical Cafe. That gets started at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, running until 3:30 p.m. Eastern. 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the UK, and 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. in France. That is when Robert Godridge will take over with the Hourglass at 3:30 p.m. Eastern until 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. in the UK, and 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. in France. And of course, the Song Bank kicking off later in the evening, so don't you dare miss it. The Song Bank from last night happened tonight on this Saturday evening due to a prior commitment that Sienna had on the Friday evening, but she is going to be with us in the evening on her radio station. In the meantime, you got Nick, you got Robert coming up, and speaking of coming up, you got Samantha and the crew coming up on the Classical Cafe. So check that out when you get an opportunity to. Always great fun with everybody on Sienna's radio station, Sienna Key Radio. And speaking of great fun, our program here on Penguins Postgame is hitting the closing moments of the program here. So, what's next for Buffalo? Let's start with Buffalo, and we'll get on over to the Penguins, who, as we know, are continuing a 7-game road trip. They're on a long road trip for the first time in 30 years to close out 1 month. The next 5 for Buffalo, well, we got a back-to-back as they are back in action on Monday. A 4 p.m. start in Seattle to kick off a 4-game road trip. For the rest of January, they will take on the Seattle Kraken on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern, they are in Vancouver to take on the Canucks of Vancouver. On that Tuesday night, they'll take on the Calgary Flames on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern, they are in Edmonton. So they're going from one side of Alberta to the next for a 4 p.m. Eastern start time against the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. And we'll wrap up the next 5 with a start of a 2-game homestand. Make that a 4-game homestand that kicks off near the end of January with the Boston Bruins coming into town on Tuesday. Yes, the Bruins are coming into town on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. So Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, then Edmonton, then Boston. Right back here at KeyBank Center, where the Penguins battle the Sabres and beat them on Friday night. Speaking of games for the Penguins, it's the moment we've all been waiting for tonight. Another matchup of 4 matchups between the Capitals and the Penguins gets going. The Penguins won the first one in Washington. Can they win the second one in Washington tonight? We'll find out as the Penguins battle the Capitals tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'll get into everything else on the post-game show of Capitals and the Penguins as to when they will next meet in the continuation of their 4-game season series if it is indeed a go from Washington, they will head over to Los Angeles to take on the King for the final time this season. They will then head to Anaheim to take on the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Friday, we have a Penguins post-game show for you following that game against the Ducks. On Saturday, you might get this one on Sunday, but it's the second and final meeting between the Seattle Kraken and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can the Penguins bounce back from the 4-2 loss at home to the Seattle Kraken against old friend Dan Bylsma and former hockey players of the Penguins, Jared McCann, Jamie Oleksiak, etc.? Plus, is Jordan Eberle, the captain of the Kraken, going to be in the lineup this time around? We'll see. Wrapping up the next five with a visit to the Shark Tank on Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. They'll take on the San Jose Sharks. So action tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Action on Monday night if the trip is still under consideration and is a go for the Penguins at Crypto.com Arena. We wish everyone has been impacted by the wildfires in Los Angeles all the best and hope everyone is doing well. We will see if this game does indeed go. I don't necessarily know what the Penguins and the King are going to do if this game does get moved. But if it does get moved, our next Penguin post-game show after our game against Washington tonight will not be until after the Ducks game if the Kings game does get moved. And then, of course, we will have Seattle for you as well as San Jose and Utah. But we will wait and see what the situation with Los Angeles versus Pittsburgh is. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Penguins Postgame. Enjoy the hockey game tonight between the Capitals and the Penguins. I'll be back with you later in the evening to break down Caps and Penguins. Round 2 of 4 tonight on a Hockey Day in Canada. Look forward to seeing you guys after the game. Enjoy the hockey game. Let's go, Pens. Penguins win it 5-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. They'll do battle once more later in March on 2025. So they won't play again till March 27th, 2025 as part of a 3-game road trip in March. After a 5-game homestand between Vegas, St. Louis, the Devils, the Islanders, and the Blue Jackets. But a lot of games to get to before we get there. All right. With that being said, January is rolling along. My name is Scott McGregor. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on the show. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the hockey game tonight. And I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. Let's go, Pens. And as Mike Lang would always like to say at the end of every Penguins victory, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. He after Pens and Cap. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.